Toronto Maple Leafs news and rumors. Surprisingly, our local reporters have got their hands on some valuable info. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty of it, I've got a special request for y'all. Smash that subscribe button, so we can soon leave the Montreal Canadiens in the dust in terms of subscribers. With your support, we'll become the top news channel in the game. Now, let's get to the scoop. The current Toronto Maple Leafs blue line is about as physical as a feather, lacks serious upside, and is missing those elite players we crave. As we've seen time and time again, these factors are key. You can't expect to lift the Stanley Cup when your only defenseman who knows how to throw a hit is Jake McCabe, and you've got no elite talent or hope for a breakout season. In the NHL, it's the superstars who call the shots. It's better to have one absolute stud and 5 not-so-great players than to roll with 6 just decent ones. Every team boasting an elite defenseman has a stronger blue line than the Leafs. Morgan Rielly, the Leafs' top defender, wouldn't even make it into an accurate top 20 list of NHL defensemen. And let's talk upside. The Leafs are thinking of icing a lineup with 3 guys in their 30s and 2 more inching towards that milestone. Timothy Liljegren, the one guy with potential, hasn't even piqued the coach's interest for the top 4, let alone the playoffs. So, what's the verdict? We need a trade, pronto. Toronto Maple Leafs need a blockbuster trade to patch up their blue line. Yesterday, I tossed out an idea for a trade that would bring Calgary Flames defenseman Chris Tanev to the Leafs. It sounds great, but let's face it, Calgary likely won't part with their ace defenseman. During this time of year when all teams are dreaming big for the next season, it's pretty unlikely any team wants to give up the kind of superstar player the Toronto Maple Leafs should be getting for. Then, there's that pesky salary cap to deal with, right? You might wonder, how can the Leafs add any talent when they're already over the salary cap? Well, that's a brilliant question. Here's the scoop: TJ Brodie, Kaje Jarnkrok, and Sam Lafferty are options the Leafs could use to wiggle under the cap, if needed. This would free up around $6 million to snag an elite defenseman. But what's the plan after that? How do you find an elite defenseman available at the start of the season? There's only one team I can kinda see making such a move. Ottawa just locked down Jake Sanderson to a long-term deal, but he plays the left side, and so do Jacob Chychrun and Tomas Chabot. Could a deal for Chabot be on the horizon? Specifically, what if we traded William Nylander for Thomas Chabot? Chabot's got 5 years left at $8 million, and he'll be 31 when that deal wraps up. William Nylander is set to pocket slightly more for a longer term. The Leafs are golden up front but sink like a rock on defense. This move would bring some balance and make us a stronger team. Chabot is the cream of the crop on defense and would instantly become the Leafs' ace player. Plus, if we move Nylander, we'd have an easier time fitting Nick Robertson into the top line. Knies and Robertson on the cheap make trading Nylander at least doable, if not ideal.